Tim Cook will go down as one of the most successful tech CEOs in modern history. After all, he's increased the market cap of Apple from $377 billion from the end of 2011, the year he was appointed as CEO, to $2.9 trillion at the end of 2023. He's successfully been able to increase the sales of iPhones year on year until recently, and supported making it one of the most successful tech products in history. Before this, he was Steve Jobs' consigliere since Steve's return to the helm of Apple in 1997. He was headhunted aggressively by Jobs to join the turnaround that Jobs enacted in his own Rising from the Ashes story. And Tim's track record prior to Apple was equally impressive, with transformational stints at both IBM and Compaq. But although he was handpicked by Jobs to lead Apple after his death, during what could have been a potentially tumultuous transition since Jobs' passing, is he the right person to grow a tech company that requires creativity, innovation, and bold moves? Of course, he's a deft operator and an executor of strategies, which is what he has effectively done in his previous roles, and in his role as COO under Steve Jobs. Financial dominance doesn't necessarily translate to continuing to build the most transformational tech company in the world. And at a time when growth and innovation at Apple is under question, it's necessary to consider who is best to lead this legendary tech company. Tim Cook has been a powerhouse operator at Apple since he was brought in under Jobs' revival of the company. Cook is known for his expertise in supply chain management and operational efficiency. This is his superpower and what he has been known for in his career. Under his leadership, Apple has streamlined its supply chain, reduced product lead times, and improved inventory management, contributing to cost savings and increased productivity. Cook has overseen Apple's expansion into new markets around the world, helping the company reach a broader customer base. This includes entering and strengthening its presence in emerging markets such as China and India. Cook has been a vocal advocate for user privacy and security. Under his leadership, Apple has implemented strong encryption measures and positioned itself as a company that prioritizes user data protection. When was the last time you heard about a data breach of Apple customers? And Apple's financial performance has continued to be robust under Tim Cook's leadership. The company has consistently reported strong revenues and profits, making it one of the most valuable and financially successful companies globally. But despite all these strengths, there is an argument to make that Apple has lost its way with innovation, which has resulted in growth of product sales decreasing. The services component for Apple is a big money spinner, but shouldn't be what defines one of the iconic tech companies of our time. And although Apple has always had swings in its market cap just before launching any new product, this time things seem different. Apple needs a leader who can inspire in the mold of a Jobs, who is widely recognized as one of the best leaders ever to have lived. Beyond this, Apple needs a leader who has a finger on the pulse of where technology is going for application to consumers at mass scale. Again, Jobs instinctively understood this, which led to the launch of the iPod and the iPhone, which rewrote the rulebook on how people consume tech products. Creativity and vision need to be key attributes for the leader of Apple going forwards. And despite his other strengths, these are not attributes that come naturally to Tim Cook. But beyond this, as innovation, content, and distribution are merging, tech CEOs need to be able to leverage what they're building with what others have built. As such, the right acquisitions will be important to dominate by identifying synergies between technology, media, and modes of distribution. Cook has proven he can see that logic, and the $3 billion acquisition of Beats Electronics in 2014 was a sign of that. However, more is required, especially given how consumer behaviors have continued to change over the last decade, and especially given where Apple is going with the Vision Pro. Although Jobs was not known as a prolific dealmaker either, his strength was in his ability to innovate to a level that Tim Cook cannot. Also, the tech market has changed drastically over the last 15 years, and acquisitions need to form a central thesis for the large tech companies now, where different markets are converging. Being able to identify a creative and inspirational leader who is an astute dealmaker crystallizes the key attributes of the person who will take Apple forward for the next decade and beyond. For a company as big as Apple, it is conceivable that there will already be a detailed succession plan in place already. And as has been the case previously with Cook's appointment, and what Cook himself has declared, it is likely that the next CEO will come from within Apple. So to find the answer of who could follow in Tim Cook's footsteps, the current executive management team would be the right place to look. And from this senior team, there are perhaps 4 likely candidates: Eddie Q, Senior VP of Services; Greg Joswiak, Senior VP of Marketing; Craig Federighi, Senior VP of Software Engineering; and Jeff Williams, Chief Operating Officer. Eddie Q has been at the company for a long time, starting in 1989. In that time, he's built the services division of Apple that includes the App Store, the iTunes Store, iCloud services, and streaming services to be extremely successful. But although services will continue to be important to Apple going forwards, it's not something Apple should pin its future on. Greg Joswiak has been at Apple 37 years and perhaps knows Apple better than anyone else. As Senior VP of Worldwide Marketing, he will understand, more than most, how Apple can best represent itself to the world. But arguably, Apple has already made those inroads into large markets such as China and India, and additional opportunity from new markets, though apparent, will not be transformative in the same way that new tech would be. Craig Federighi is Senior VP of Software Engineering and is perhaps the most identifiable of the names of the list, given his presence on Apple's keynote videos. Federighi oversees the iOS, the operating system that powers the iPhone, which has been Apple's golden goose over the last decade and more. But at a time when Apple is struggling with iPhone sales, and it's clear they need to reduce reliance for growth from the iPhone, maybe Federighi is not positioned where the business needs to go. Jeff Williams has the same role as Tim Cook had when he became CEO, that of COO. The fluid running of Apple, given its plethora of products Apple manufactures and ships annually, is effectively down to Jeff. But Jeff does more than what Cook used to cover in the role. Jeff also oversees the company's design team and oversees Apple's growing health tech initiatives in a massively growing market. Digital health, which is expected to grow to $1.5 trillion by 2030. The combination of operations and leadership in a nascent but growing sector such as digital health perhaps positions Williams as a very likely candidate. Without doubt, Tim Cook has been a stalwart for the progress Apple has had, not only since Tim was appointed as CEO, but since he was hired on Jobs' return to Apple. Jobs laid the foundations with the iPhone in particular, and Apple has been minting money from that one product over the last 15 years. But what has got Apple to become the most valuable company in the world will not sustain Apple as the biggest and most innovative company. Indeed, Microsoft is fast closing in on Apple for the mantle of the largest company in the world, having recently briefly overtaken Apple as the most valuable company in the world. The launch of the Vision Pro, which is the most innovative product that can truly be credited to Tim Cook, will be instrumental to understand the legacy Tim Cook leaves and the future he leaves behind. But it will be someone of the ilk of a Jeff Williams, who I believe could really transform Apple into the behemoth that fulfills its legacy, getting the right balance of someone who can be at the forefront of innovation with a real understanding of what consumers will want, along with someone who can identify transformational acquisitions that will disrupt the market, will be critical. And if Apple can do that, it can take the playbook from the success Satya Nadella is having at Microsoft, where Satya understands the need for foundational innovation and acquiring the right companies. Maybe that will escalate Apple back to the top of the world again. To watch my video on why I believe Apple is no longer a tech company, or if the Vision Pro will save Apple, click the link above or see the videos in the description box below. Thanks for watching.